Alrighty, 9:57. Just double checking my mic here. So we are still at the old location. Unfortunately, the internet did not work properly when it got put in. So this one's for you, Julie. Adjusting the camera. So Julie actually got us a level for the camera, which is hilarious. And we're going to use it, but once we get to set up in the proper location. So we don't have our filters anymore because I got rid of those. So you're going to see a lot more shadowing on this video. So, but that's okay. We're still here. Speaking about being here, I use the top of my toque right now. I'm not going to be able to hop on tomorrow just because of the logistics for me. Having to come back over here and then go back home and then pack up the boys and head up north. I'm just going to make a call on it and just say that's a little bit much. So I think what I may try and do is bring this stuff with me and maybe get it done either on the Sunday or just wait till the Monday, just so we have the series tied up on time. So we'll kind of see how that goes because again, I'm traveling back down on Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. So today we have some big muscles. Sorry, we were moving stuff and like all full of dust and dirt right now. Some big muscle groups with some core. So I'm just going to scroll and find our timer for what we're going to use today. I think it's right at the top, actually. There it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to stay on the mat and we're going to do that for 6 exercises for 4 rounds. And then we'll just transition to the standing. Let me see how this kind of works here. Oh yeah, that's plenty. Look, it's like 4 of me. And then we'll do some standing work. So it's going to be chest and core. And then once we get up, it's going to be back with a little bit of core. And that'll be our workout for today. And then we're going to give you a grab bag on Monday for our final workout. So who is here? Trish is here. Trish says good morning. Trish was over last night and we all stuffed our faces with turkey and desserts and sweets and all the good stuff. So let's burn off some calories. Trish Gibson. It's 10 o'clock, so we're going to get started. So we're going to start with chest press. So again, starting with a warm-up weight. Let your muscles kind of get into it, especially if you have the kind of off eating right now. You're going to be inflamed from all the carbohydrates, sugar, maybe alcohol consumption, and maybe just even less water or sleep. So whatever you've been up to over the holiday season, it's back to business today. Back to work on Thursday. So I'm going to start the timer. I'll meet you guys on the mat. Cheryl's going to start out. And it's our first round of chest press right here. Sneak that in. So second last day, I'm going to start out with, shop over here, some 15-pound dumbbells. So this is, again, just a standard chest press. Start by pushing parallel as always. Then you go right down into the ground, kind of with your triceps and your elbows, and just make sure that you're markering off to the center pectoral. I can feel my shoulder blades are kind of lifting forward a little bit. So I'm going to make sure driving those rear shoulders into the mat. Did some shoveling yesterday. All those things, right? You can feel those little extra activities. What you're going to do is you're going to hold your dumbbells in a chest press position. Now you can hold it in a half. You can even hold it with support here. If the chest press doesn't work for you, you can always just put the dumbbells down. We're going to do some lower leg lifts. So meaning that we're going to go from tabletop, place 1, 2 feet up, and then slowly lower the legs to the ground, and then bring them back up. Now, if 2 legs are too much, you can always go 1 leg at a time. And if the straight legs are too much, you can also put a bend in your knees. So again, I like this because the dumbbells push us into the floor. I want you guys to really focus on bracing your belly and paying super close attention to your lower back. I know my lower back wants to lift off the ground right now. Now, a little trick on this one. The heavier the dumbbell that you're holding, the easier the lower leg lift is going to be because it's going to really push you into ground, but I can definitely feel the chest as well working just to sustain this extension. Bring on. So we're going to stop, bend the knees 1 foot, 2 feet down, and the next exercise is a parallel press. So that's the one where the elbows go all the way down to the ground and then the hands stay equal distance apart. I'm going to stick with my 15s on this. Give the shoulders a little bit of time to get some warm up. So again, push those rear shoulders into the ground, expand your chest. Now we're going to exhale, press up, and then inhale, drop it right back down. Every friggin' time, the triceps, because this is kind of like a dualistic exercise, right? I use this on triceps too. Definitely feeling the triceps. That's probably from pushing the shovel away yesterday. It's all really cool, right? Where you're doing stuff, you can say, oh, okay, that's functional training right there. Inhale to exhale. So again, training for life. When the snow falls, you're able to clear your driveway, right? It's that little stuff. I remember Yolande always saying her big thing was when she was able to carry her own grocery bags, and then it was when she was able to move her own snow tires. So this stays in a parallel press. We're gonna come up, 1, 2. This isn't a lower leg lift, but it's a leg extension. So this is where the legs are gonna shoot away from your body, and then pull back, and just make sure that your knees are markering over your hips. Again, you can always do one leg at a time if you want. Push those rear shoulders into the ground, keep a nice extension, and we'll move into lower leg lifts. You got her. So slow and controlled. I feel my lumbar kind of lifting off. So it's about finding that area that you can maintain the curve. So again, arms are up, shoulders and the floor. Moving into a plank after this. So again, you guys can go elbows, hands, dumbbells. If you want to scoot up into standing position, you got 20 seconds between each exercise. So it gives you time to adjust your weights and also change position if you want. We're going to stay on the floor because that's kind of how we designed this circuit, this first one. So we stop, 1 foot, 2 feet, dumbbells go down, and then you guys can choose your plank. So again, if you want to go on elbows, toes, knees, hands, I think I'm going to start with some knuckles. So we just want to make sure that the joints are stacked underneath the shoulders and also make sure that the hips are level. We're going to come on up, tuck that tailbone, and then keep your gaze down and through, kind of where your hands or your thumbs are. Now the last move that we're going to do in today's circuit is the hyperextension. So out of this position, on the next one, we're just going to drop to our bellies. Again, we always like to keep our hands out of the equation on the hyperextension. So you can keep them off to the side. That's one where we look up, lifting our torso, and pull our legs as much as we can off the ground. But right now, plank, the wider you put your feet, the more stable your plank will be. So if you want to amp it up a little bit, you can bring your feet tight in together. Tuck that tailbone, that's going to put you into a core engagement. And then 1 knee, 2 knees. Hopefully, I think, you know what, I'm going to put a little bit more cushion under this because I think that my pubic bone is going to dig in to the floor. Okay, so we're going to go here, forehead. Ooh, that's cool on the belly. The forehead's on the ground, the arms are at the side. We're going to look up while elevating our legs and then come on back down. If you'd rather, you can stay in the up position. Sometimes that's nice. It just puts a lot of pressure on your hips and pubic bone. So we're looking up, right? The gaze is dictating the lifting of the torso. So we're looking up with our eyes and then getting up as high as we can. We're pulling up from the hips and just trying to get as much height. The thing that's limiting me right now is my pubic bone on this thin mat and on the concrete. But we do want to try and keep the legs as straight as we can. So a cue, if you guys are doing it correctly, you should feel pressure and tension in your booty, right? The upper glutes, lower back. And then you can bring your hands up, push through, and then we'll go back and try the circuit again. So if you guys want to try a different weight, maybe you want to stick to the same one. I think I'll try 20s. 15s actually felt pretty challenging, but the body's waking up a little bit, right? Motion is lotion. Roll it down. This is the chest press, guys. Pressing from the center, palms face forward with a contraction at the top. So let's feel those shoulders, make sure they feel stable. And if you get any pinching or grinding, step 1, see if you can correct it with range of motion, or maybe it's about positioning of your body. And if none of that is helping, maybe you're just decreasing the weight for a sec, see if that'll take a little bit of pressure off that area. Inhale to exhale to contract, you got her. So again, we're going to squeeze up and through. Inhale and exhale to contract. Almost there. You got her. So we're going to stay in chest press position, palm forward, arm extended. We're going to pull 1 leg, 2 legs, and then straighten them up to the ceiling. When we're ready, we're going to take a big breath in. When you're ready to exhale, the legs are going to come down to the floor, and then bring it up and through. You got her. So slow and controlled. I just saw that I'm getting a Discord message, so I think that's Bonner. I think he doesn't remember that I told him that I'm not going to be home. So in my 20-second break, I'm just going to message my 9-year-old because he's going to be like, Mama, where are you? His brother's at home, but he may be sleeping right now. So again, on the chest press, you don't have to keep a full extension with your arms. You can always bend your elbows, right, resting them on the ground. But man, can I feel these 20-pound dumbbells? So much more stability on that lower back. Palms down and sit up and through. Parallel press. Right? Parallel press, you're going to keep your elbows tight together. Bring it over here. Boop, boop, boop. All right, you guys go ahead. And the timer has started. There we go. Hashtag, it's all about doing all the things as a mom here. 30 seconds. Parallel press has your elbows tight. And we're going to go up and then drop them down to the hips. So again, the big thing I find with myself, I do have kind of shoulder impingement issues. Is really making sure that they're pushed back to the floor and it's stable. So we inhale as they come down. Exhale, drive them up and through. Give a little contraction at the top. Trying to find those chest muscles. I know last time that we did big chest, I was sore the next day. So these can stay up, or if you're having a little bit of a fatigue issue, just remember, relax your shoulder blades into the ground and kind of walk them from side to side so they're not poking. One leg, two legs. We call that tabletop with the knees over the hips and the heels in front of the knees. We inhale in this position and exhale, extend the legs out, and then inhale up and through. Here we go. Let's rock and roll. So 40 seconds, already into round 2. It's kind of fun doing these like complementary positions, I find, right? Where we're working core, but it just doesn't feel the same. Like this would have been standard, put your hands behind your lower back, or put your hands on the side of the mat. So this is giving us a little extra in the arms, in the chest as well as core. Obviously a little bit of legs too. So we're getting lots of bang for our buck on these 45-minute programs, and we will continue with 45 minutes in the new year. We are yet to launch the date of start. Bring it down. 1 and 2, and then we hit our plank position. So again,
This is one of my favorite workouts so far, actually.
oh yeah. It's nice kind of combining it, especially when the thing with me is I like fluidity in the exercises, so it's nice to be able to kind of stay in a position for a couple rounds. So again, onto your plank. We're going to tuck the tailbone, engage the core, head down, and just kind of stay with this. I think the big thing is about how your shoulders feel, how's your low back. The one thing that I used to notice with a lot of the young athletes is they really sway. They just don't have that deep core strength. I've noticed as the older I got and the more muscle I built up, I really think specifically from doing a lot of Pilates, I have a hard time even letting my lower back release now. Like there's muscles that's holding that low back strong. 1, 2, hyperextension. So that's one thing that we do want to watch out for if you are just starting to kind of build up that core strength, is don't let that swoop happen in your lower back. Okay, go belly. It just wakes me up touching this floor. So your head is to the floor, your shoulders are to the ground. Now, to uptake this one, when we come to the top, you can squeeze your shoulder blades together in the center and get a little bit of middle back. So as the legs come up, the gaze leads the torso on the up position. You can do some holds. You can even do some pulses if you want. Kind of just whatever you need right now. Coming in with a bit of a stiff lower back this morning. So I do like to take a little bit of a rest on this one personally, but whatever you guys need. Inhale to exhale. You are. So how about that squeeze at the top? Right? Can you feel that back muscle biting when you squeeze your shoulder blades together? Hands to armpits, push it up and through. I'm gonna flip this out and go to round 3. Okay, I'm gonna try 25s. We have backups of lighter weights around, so pull this over here. 1 and 2. Okay, so chest press, guys. Cheryl's already there. I'm grunting, just laying down, palms forward, elbows to floor, and then contraction at the top.
crazy, man.
This does not feel too different than the 15, and that's because the body is adapting to those slow, small increases. That 15, it felt real tough on that first round. I was thinking, oh man, I don't know if I'm going too much heavier today.
Yeah, this combo was pretty good, the first 4.
Yeah, they're cute, eh? I know. I was kind of debating if I should do like a 3rd pack of them, like with a pet fly, and I'm like, no, I think it's good.
You just holding after?
Yeah,
It
it gives us a lot of arming. So we're gonna push the shoulder blades in, into tabletop we go. We inhale, exhale, 1 leg, 2 legs, right? That gives a nice stretch in our hamstring. So if you wanna upgrade this one, what you can do is squeeze your knees together. That's gonna activate those inner thighs. We're gonna take a big breath in, and then pull up and through. And if you can, try not to pull past your hip height as your legs come up. So we're just gonna terminate. So if you were kind of looking at Cheryl right now, she looks like an L, right? And she pulls up. We got her. And again, just slow and controlled. If you want some inner thigh, you can pinch your heels together, put your toes out into a plie. That'll rotate out from your thighs. That'll get a little bit of a zip in those inner thighs as well. So all these little variations for you guys to try out if you want to add a little bit of zing to the moves. Okay, so I'm gonna drop 1 foot, 2 feet. I'm just gonna let those come out of my hands for a sec. I don't think I can do 3s on this. Woo! It's pushing deep into the hands. Parallel press is next. Hand pulls up. All right. So parallel press, we're kind of already in the ready position, right? Our elbows are right tight, and then full extension out. We got her. So drive it all the way up and through, but I'm gonna reset my rear shoulders and my scapula to push into the floor. And then let's try and find that contraction at the top, right? That's the goal here. We're coming on out, find that chest, and then lower with control. And keeping an eye on both hands. So you gotta move them at the same rate, right? We always have that one stronger side. Oof, these 25s I think are my max right now on these exercises. I need a little bit of a break before we go into the leg extensions with the parallel press. So again, if you want to keep your parallel press on the floor, maybe you don't want to do it anymore, it's taxing you out too much, maybe you want to try it on the extension. So the extension has the arms go up. Again, the shoulder blades reset to the floor, 1 foot, 2 feet. We're going to inhale and tabletop, exhale, extend those legs nice and long and strong. These are done nice and slow, right? So we are kicking some big heavy weight away from our bodies. We don't want to have any sort of an injury, especially a low back injury. Those are horrid. All right, so when we get an injury, we're like, oh, wow, okay. All of those things allowed me to do all these things, and I can no longer do any of them pain-free. It's wild. So I want you to go into your chest right now. We try and contract the chest to hold the dumbbells up. So try and take it away from the triceps and try and bring it back to that large muscle group. 1 foot, 2 feet, and then we're moving back into the plank. I think I'm gonna try elbows on this one. I'm not getting bothered by doing those knuckle ones, but just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Great variety is. It's exciting, so I'm going to tuck that tailbone, and all the different plank positions do feel different. So this, to me, is always more challenging than those high planks. I found these little planks a little bit more.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah.
So again, your gaze is in between. I'm at my wrists right now. Try not to tuck your gaze down on this one. Body's vibrating, so definitely doing enough for this workout, just a mix up of some big muscles with a little bit of core, just kind of repackaging the circuit a little bit differently. So I'm gonna just scoop these off a smidge just because they're sitting on the mat here. I'm gonna fold them over. This is the hyperextension. Okay, so again, just going for a little extra padding here. Right on. So the head's down, hands are at the side. We're gonna look up. And then come on back down. So this was given to me by somebody who rehabbed my back in Kappa sneezing. Oh my God, how many years ago now?
17-ish, I guess.
So this is like half of what you're supposed to be doing for the rehab. But we were working up to like 100 of these. And when you have a back injury, you guys know how tough it is. But man, he fixed me through and then push it through. So I do like that move. And his big thing was don't do the Superman. Don't do the front forward because that brings your traps and it limits the height of your torso. And you really want to get as high as you can, both with the legs as well as, excuse me, the upper body. So we're gonna roll out the last chest press. Bring dumbbells to the side, guys. Lock the shoulders into place before you do your movement. And then bring it up and through. There we go. Yeah, I think like we were kind of mixing stuff up and weren't holding those elevations with the core. Maybe the endurance would be there a little bit more for that last parallel press, but the muscles are getting worked in a different way here. So
It's gone fast. This one's gone fast.
I love, yeah, chest is great. I love doing chest. Yeah, so fingers crossed. We'll see where we are on Sunday or Monday. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Okay, chest press, shoulders are down. So we're gonna bring 1 foot, 2 feet. This is the lower leg lift. So we're gonna go 1 up and 2 down. And then we're gonna take a breath in. And when you bring it down, I want you to try and make sure you're pulling your core in and not letting your, excuse me, something in my throat, not letting your belly billow up too much. So you're gonna try and pull and brace it. I know there's a lot going on. You can take some stuff out, guys, if it's a little bit too much, and if you're finding it hard to keep the form on anything, you can eliminate the dumbbell hold if you want. I really like it. And you know what it is? It's like we only have so much time to get this. And it's nice to be able to get a little bit of extra out of these just by adding in, you know, a little bit of a dumbbell hold or making something weighted that was non-weighted. Or just kind of joining the exercises differently. I'm gonna try those down for a sec. Ooh, the grip is going. So we're gonna do parallel press, and then we're gonna do leg extensions with the parallel press hold. So when you guys are ready, you're gonna lock your dumbbells into place. 1, 2, right? You can just keep your elbows down on the floor for now and push your rear shoulders to the ground. We're gonna drive those rear shoulders into the floor as you extend your arms. Okay, so that's very important. Make sure that you're stable on the mat. Also, if you want, you can always do 1 at a time. That's gonna work a little bit more core, just doing 1 at a time, just because you have to stabilize. So if you need a little bit of a break, or if you need to focus on one side a little bit more, you can always bring it into the alternating as well. You don't have to do them at the same time. We know you guys know this, but we just want to remind you, right? Just if you're struggling and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to keep going, like what are my alternatives here? I'm putting those down for a sec. So we're going to move into the leg extension, and then we'll pull it into play. Hyperextension, and then we're actually going to stand up because we're going to do some rows. So let's pull those dumbbells in. 1, 2. We can press the dumbbells up if we want. Push the shoulders into ground. We're going to take an inhale. Our exhale is on extension, and then inhale, knees over hips. You got her. So I think the biggest thing you should be paying attention to is that low back. Right on as I squeak. That's the exertion of trying to hold my lower, right? Because I really have to brace my belly. It's trying to get all that air out as you extend. Inhale, pull back up. Again, I'm trying to sneak in some Pilates stuff with you kids here, right? So slowing stuff down hopefully allows you to get a better exhale, right? A fuller exhale. So you're trying to get all that air out of your lungs and drop them down. I'm not gonna lie, glad that was round 4. That was tough for me by the end. So we're gonna get some play, and then we'll do the hyperextension, and then we're gonna stand up. We're gonna do a bent over 1-arm row with the dumbbell starting in your right hand, okay? So put that visual in your head. We have a plank, we have a hyper, and then we're gonna transition up for a bent over 1-arm row. The dumbbell will be in your right hand to start. So the bent over 1-arm rows, which will be coming up,
You can do them supporting yourself on your own body, right? So if your right arm is working, you can always support with your left hand on your left leg. If you have a chair, you can always put your hand there. And if you have a bench, right, you can put your left hand and left knee up on the bench. The right leg would kick back out of the way, and the right hand would have the dumbbell. I just want you to focus on keeping your shoulders level as you pull the dumbbell up and through. Transition down. A lot of the time when people do rows, they open up when they row. I know we did one of those in the series where we did a twist. Not doing that today on those bent over one arm rows. So hopefully you can move a little bit of weight on those. Right here. Woo! Yep, you're getting warm and the coffee starts to feel refreshing instead of cold. So we're gonna lift and look and then come on back down. Okay, let's bring in the shoulder blades, we'll squeeze them together. Up and through. You got her. So again, trying to peel the thighs off as much as we can, and that's coming out of the hip to leg connection. So try not to bend the knees. And padding down a little bit. Definitely need thicker mats when I do this one. But hopefully you can feel that contraction in your glutes, right, where they feel nice and strong. You will feel some tension in your low back. It is a low back exercise. Okay, let's push up slow and steady. What dumbbell do you want to start out with? I think I'm going to start out with 20s. So it's going to be in the right hand. Okay, so this is in the right hand. So left foot forward, right foot back. So we can support here. Just make sure you're not right on top of your kneecap. Shoulders are front forward, and then we just pull into hip. So the thing that we want to try and avoid is this type of stuff. Okay, so just sit down into it, and then just find that little squeeze, kind of in your back armpit. And just go slow and steady, right? Keep the elbow nice and close. So I can definitely feel this in my low back just from the forward fold. You can always get down on bent knee as well and do it in this position, or if you wanted to, instead of leaning on your chair, you could sit and forward fold. Okay, so just being mindful of where you're feeling today. Inhale to exhale. We move over to the left side after this, so just tuck the tailbone, roll it up. So the left hand has a dumbbell, so the right foot forward, right hand is on right knee. Chest is here. Remember that shoulder? It's the one with the dumbbell that likes to lift. Lock them in. Make sure you're not pushing on your kneecap. And then what we're going to do is pull back into the hip. And again, the elbow's going to stay very close to the body. After this, we're doing 2-arm row. Okay, so both are going to be pulling at the same time. And the palms will be facing forward on this one. If you do have a straight bar at home or an easy bar, you could absolutely use that for the next exercise. For the dumbbells, we're just going to rotate at the wrist and just have our palms facing outward. Right, so again, the big thing on this one, I might take a knee on this one just because we didn't pull in chairs for the bench today. I'm not sure how much forward fold my low back is going to take, but you can do it standing or seated. I think I'm going to choose to do it kneeling on the first round. Okay, so 15, I'm going to go through this. 1 and 2. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 foot up, 1 foot back. I'll tip at the hip. Cheryl's doing it in standing position, but through my hip flexors. And then we're going to be pulling up and through. Try the other leg out here. Okay, no, they're both. Okay, I don't even think I can do that. Okay, forward fold. I think it's from all the bending from shoveling. I don't know about you guys, but when I shovel, it is like very aware of the ergonomics of each shovel. A couple times I was daydreaming and I did like a twist, pull, lift thing, and I was like, oh, no. That's not good. So just slow and steady, right? Pulling up into the hip. I do like this pull. I can feel it in my lats. We're gonna do a halo ab after this. So, how much? Really? But yes, there is some. So you choose a direction you want to go in on the first round. If you can remember what direction that was, maybe on the second round we can mix it up. So we're getting 2 directions on each. So feet are shoulder width apart. The dumbbell is just going to orbit around. This one always gets a little bit of my elbows. It puts my ligament there. So if you're not enjoying that one, you can always halo in this direction too, okay? So again, it's just a little bit of a break. You can see how I'm swaying here, right? It's not, what do I say? So for me, like it's not the end all and be all for core, but it's certainly,
It's good for shoulders though too.
yeah, if you're doing the upper,
Oh,
I
yeah.
have something that flicks in my left
Yeah,
ligament
me
when I do that. So halo is just an orbit motion. Okay, bent over one arm row. I did this down. Okay, I think I'll try 20. I know I'm taking quite an amount of like thought today already, kind of what do I want to do here. So right hand is the dumbbell, left foot forward, left foot back. Make sure your spine is super straight. And then let's just pull that up in the hip. You got it. So this is a real short circuit. There's only 4 on this one. And we're already into number 2. So just be mindful. I know Trish takes time and she actually writes down what she's doing. Chris was doing that as well. Squeeze it. Because when you do want to come back to some of the exercise programs that you liked more than the others, I find to have a journal to see kind of what you were lifting. Just gives you an idea kind of where you were at. Pulling up with the spine, and then going over to the left hand. So right foot forward, left foot back on this one. Right hand goes onto right thigh. You're gonna punch that chest out, and then again, make sure that that working shoulder, the left shoulder in this case, is level with the right. So again, about 3 seconds, we're gonna pull up into the hip. I like to take a little bit of pause time up on that pull, just to really let the back hold that weight. And again, try not to let that dumbbell pull the arm out of position. Inhale to exhale. You got it. So about halfway through this one, look for that contraction. I can feel my glutes working. That's a nice thing too, if you're able to do some of this stuff standing, I bet you can feel the other muscle groups working, right? AKA the glute. Maybe a little bit of the quads too. And then roll it up and through. Okay, so that felt okay. I think I'll stick with the 15s. This is the palm forward 2 row, and then we go back to the halos. So again, halos, you can do them overhead like Cheryl was doing them. If you want to orbit them around your torso, you can do that as well. Just get the knees to pick these up. The feet are tight together, and then the palms are forward, and then we pull up into the hip area. So hopefully you're feeling the contractions in the muscles. Up and through. So again, what is your plan for the couple weeks that we are not live? What are you guys going to be up to? Maybe you guys are going to be heading out on vacation actually too, right? January, February. Inhale to exhale. Remember, you can always take your bands with you if you want to take us with you. Right? We always fit in your phone. We're super convenient. And the bands fit in your suitcases. So if you want to continue while you're gone, roll it up. So back to orbits. Again, you guys need shoes. If you want to go around the head or around the torso, right? Torso, you can handle probably a little bit more weight. So we're just going to grab a 25. So, I can't feel my core though. From all the twisting. That's why it's so great to stay like functional and like not use mechanisms and gadgets and gimmicks, right? I had a really nice gentleman come across the street yesterday. He's like, I have a plow if you want me to, do your driveway and stuff. And I was like, no, that's okay. Like, I want a shovel. Like, I want to be able to do this, right? He's like, yeah, there's a gentleman down the road and he has a tractor and he'll plow for like, it's not that expensive. And I'm like, no. People just think you're crazy when you have like a shovel in your hand and you're not driving something or pushing something or something through. Really nice guy, but I really think in the long term, like using our bodies and not relying on technology when we don't have to is probably like, it just feels good. It was great therapy to be out there as well. Bent over one arm row. I think I'll stick with the 20s. So that's a right hand. Left foot forward, right foot back, chest up. And then pull up and through. You got it. And yes, it absolutely is a time thing where you would have to time manage, right, to be able to do that stuff. Because It does take probably a couple hours longer. I mean, those plows and stuff like that, they just come on in and scoop and push and they're done. But I don't know. I think it's kind of nice to be able to use your body and stuff for a little bit and do it with your own hands. So about 10 seconds left to go on this row, and then we'll switch it over to that left side. Oh, there's somebody else there. Is it Bridget? Oh, I think it's Steph. I'm gonna walk over. Steffi, is that you? It is Steph. Oh, right on, Steph. Hey, Steffi in the house. I think you're probably liking this one, Steph. Right foot forward, left foot back, right? Left hand has a dumbbell, so that's why we take the left leg out of the way, so we're able to pull back and through so that left leg isn't getting into your pose zone. So again, let's try and focus on those shoulders, squeezing it on the way up. Inhale to exhale. Already at round 3, we're moving on to the palm forwards after this. If you guys are feeling this is enough on this day after Christmas, right? Getting you moving again. In fact, you know what? Good on you for being here, man. Good on you for getting up, finding the time, and getting back on to schedule. 10 seconds to go. Right, find that contraction. Squeeze that muscle. 3 seconds. Right on the stand up and through.
Is this third or fourth round?
This is third. Yeah, we'll have one more after this. So we're gonna bend at the knees. Palm forward, tip of the hips. I like to keep the feet tight together just so the thick thighs don't get in the way. Right, so booty goes back, palms go forward. Glutes shoot out. And then pull in towards the hips. Right on. Now, it wasn't even a choice to go shoeless. I totally didn't even think that I took my gym bag to the new place, but I must have. It must be sitting in the basement. I just can't remember right now. So I have to remember that when I go to Timmins tomorrow because I'm going to need my shoes to spin. Right? And your hat. My hat is in the hat thing. Up and through. Yeah, so I'm going to take today and putter and get everything ready. Trisha's kind enough to let us stay at her place when she's there. We need to kind of prepare and bring some stuff. So I think the boys are excited to get back up north for a bit. So we're going to stand tall and then halo abs. So the 25 I could really feel. It was a little bit cumbersome because it was chunky, but I think I'm going to stick with that. Right on. So feet shoulder width apart, a little bit narrower. Again, if you want to kind of limit the space that you're having to orbit around, and then just focus on trying to stabilize. So again, the same thing. The wider the base, the stronger your structure will be. The narrower your base, the more unstable you'll be. So you can kind of play around with foot positions as well. Right on. So one more round after this bad boy. Bad girl. Bad human. 15 seconds left to go. So then pinch that core, draw it in nice and tight, and try to be a statue as you move these weights around your body. Right there. Okay, bent over one arm row. You're gonna try 25 on this last one. So starting with the right side, just gonna put it down for a sec just for my grip and shoulder. Okay, so last one on this, left foot forward, right foot back. Right hand grabs the dumbbell. We're going to tip of the hips, shoulders face the camera, and last one. So I just want you guys to go for it, but just make sure that everything feels good. And again, just hit that contraction. 30 seconds left to go. Last chance on back this week. Right? Inhale to exhale to squeeze up and through. So again, Stephanie, not sure if you were on. I'm sure you were, but we're not going to be able to make it happen tomorrow. There's just a little bit too much going on, so my apologies. Inhale to exhale to squeeze. So I will bring everything with me and maybe hit this out on Sunday, and if not, definitely on Monday. But we'll keep you posted on how things roll out. So left hand has the dumbbell, right foot forward, right hand supporting. Inhale to exhale, you're going to pull in towards that left hip. And last, right here, 40 seconds. And it's kind of fun not wearing shoes because you can see like how hard your feet are digging in
and like the distortions of the toes, trying to get balance on these things. Inhale to exhale to pull and squeeze. So 20 seconds left to go. Again, really sitting into that right heel if you are doing a standing bent over one arm row. You can kind of shift it back into that glute, right? If glutes are an area that you want to, give a little extra to, you can shift onto the outside of the heel a little bit, and that's going to hit that hip and glute. Okay, oops. Put this guy down for a sec. He will be back on the halos. 15 pounds on each for this one for me. It's plenty, plenty, plenty. All right, so feet tight together, shoulders are back, chest is up. We're going to tip the hips, palms are going to face forward. We're going to inhale, exhale, and just contract that in towards the hip zone. Perfect. Okay, honestly, last couple exercises, right? Love or hate that halo. We're finishing off with that one. Something different, right? Not everything can feel like an attack, but just because it doesn't feel like an attack doesn't mean that it's actually not doing something. Okay, so that's the good thing to remember. Up and through. So again, I'm going to try and shift into my left heel a little bit. With that right foot being front forward on that last row, can I ever feel it fatigued in the glute? Trying to stabilize here. Roll it up. So last halo. And we'll do a little bit of stretch and then send you guys back on your way, whatever you're up to today. So feet shoulder width apart. If you want to be really challenged, you can go right tight together because it's going to take all your stability out and you'll have to use your core. Last 40 seconds. Let's see how this goes here. Right there. Oh my God, I'm having to work so hard. There we go. Low core. Oh, look, I'm losing my stability. This is so cool. Great on. I'm quiet because I'm like super focused right now. In the zone, trying not to fall over. Or keep hitting my butt cheek. I'm gonna get bruises all over from this. 10 seconds. All right, here we go. Trish, staff, whoever is out there right now, 3 seconds left to go. And then we bend at the knee and put that guy down. If you guys are able to, you can grab your hands behind your back, chest up, arms extend, and just try and expand your chest a little bit. If that's too much for you, you can just kind of push your hands back behind, however far you can go. I know that range of motion. Don't worry about the beep. I'm gonna pause that right now. Oh, I hit it twice. That's so funny. Oh my God. My sons would be so impressed with my lightning fast reflexes. Okie doke. So we can hit the wall on this one. You're gonna see Cheryl probably do 3 different hand positions. Just make sure, like she said before, to ease out of the stretch before you move your arm. So I'm just gonna go in a high hand position on this one. I'm gonna shift away from the wall once I get my hand into position. And you can see her shifting into the wall before she repositions down to a shoulder height. Great, so getting a little bit of front delt. And a little bit of chest. Don't just pull yourself off the wall in the stretch position. This is where we want to roll back in. And anyways, we're gonna meet the wall with the other hand. Make sure the shoulder is down and in the girdle, so it's not sitting up. Then start your pit out. Yeah, this side doesn't work as well. That's my super sleeper side, so everything's a little bit tighter. I'm pushing into my front pectoral muscle right now, and kind of stripping up in towards that shoulder area to try and release that a little bit. So again, just remember when you do come out of your stretch, in towards the wall we go. Right on. We can sit, we can stand, right? All I'm gonna ask us to do though is reach over and pivot. Okay, so what we're doing is I just want us to stretch out this area. So if you wanna take a seated because that's a little bit too much, you can go nice and wide with your feet. My right hand goes to my left and I'm just pivoting and I can feel that all along my lats. Really gentle little stretch here. And yes, I am curving my spine right now. I want to because I want to lengthen out the muscle. I can also, again, feel that low back as we torque through. We're going to inhale, exhale, release, right? Come on up nice and slow, especially if you're tipped over. And then reaching my left over, holy cannoli then, My right ankle, can I ever feel this in my low back today? Everything is stuck. I did do a little bit of rolling this morning. Just try and move it out a little bit. We're gonna release. And then if you want, you can just go right to the center. Right, if you're standing like Cheryl, just let the crown of your head, that's the very top. Right, if they talk about crowning in childbirth, it's because they see the top of the baby's head, like the very top of the skull, that's the crown. So just kind of let it drop and don't hold your neck up. Or hold your head up with your neck, sorry. We're gonna inhale, exhale, pushing up and through, and then I'm gonna stand up with Cheryl and do Trisha's favorite stretch. I always give you guys accolades, right, when we steal your favorite stretches. So feet shoulder width apart, elbows out like you're fighting, and you're just gonna slowly twist from side to side and even those flanks. If you guys want to stay on your mats, right, you can always do a little bit more stretching if you feel like you have stick points. Cheryl and I are done for today. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday. Hope you had a great holiday season. We are excited to get back into it with you guys in the new year, but from here on in, we do have one more session. Stay tuned. We'll see where we plug that in. Okay. Have a good day, guys.